am so angry and so afeard. I must distract myself. I have just beaten 24 egg whites with sugar for a cake icing. It took 2 hours of beating with my birch whisk, and though my arm is aching, my mind is still restless. I confess, my daughters Henny and Peggy took a turn, but it was still hard work, even with help. Oh, I am so sorry. I have forgot my manners. Hello again, Hannah Glasse. We have met before, I believe. But you were not looking at all well then. How very much improved you are. My plague recipe must be working. I'm so glad I got it to you in time. Oh, and thank you for sending your recipes to me. I have enjoyed seeing them. You rose admirably to the challenges we set you. Barbara Golightly's little cherry pies were wonderful. I might borrow her recipe for my next edition. But what are M&Ms, I wonder? I will ask at the market. Oh, and I would very much like to know where Ben Wolsey found his fairy ring mushrooms, especially given the recipe I'm going to share with you later. Now I must put the finishing touches to my cake. I have used licorice juice for the ermine on the crowns. Can you see? I am adding the last of these pretty candied flowers. You will find the method for making them in my book, The Complete Confectioner. Oh, I should add that if you are making an icing, our eggs are much smaller than yours. So if you wish to follow my example, perhaps 18 would be sufficient. This cake will go by cart to my dear aunt in Northumberland. Please God, it may bring some cheer. She wrote to me about the Scotch rebels. I thought they were but a swarm of wasps to be quickly swatted away, though still I was concerned. There is great fear that there are Scotch sympathisers in Hexham, so no one can rest completely at ease, even if the army drive the devils back over the hills. I do not know why they must persist. Are we not one union under one king? But we have our own worries here in London too, for the wretched French may come at any time. I do wonder why we always seem to be at odds with our neighbours, or rather, why they are always at odds with us. Of course, the French are in league with the Scotch, and that is why they are coming at us from the south, while the rebels are causing so much trouble in the north. So you see, my family in Northumberland and we here in London are besieged. And of course, this causes great scarcities. I cannot recall the last time I saw milk at a fair price. That sugar for my cake comes from a dwindling store of cones that I have put in a secret place for fear of thieves. Now, since you too may be suffering from shortages because of difficulty getting things from the continent, I'm going to show you how to make some mushroom ketchup with mushrooms that Mr. Glasse has fetched me. So, though there be but little beef or pork to be had, and most of that very bad, you may still add flavour to any dish. This recipe is from my very first edition. It is for sea captains to take on a voyage, and it will last for 20 years. Take 2 quarts of the largest flaps of mushrooms gathered dry, not at first dawn. Bruise them with your hands until they come into pieces. You may be vigorous, but not violent. They are not your enemy. At least we can still gather our own mushrooms and not rely on others for them. I do think that it is a great joy to go into a wood or a meadow and seek out the best mushrooms. But be careful. Mr. Glasse knows his fungi and can pick the best. If you are not similarly well versed, you must go with one who knows, or take your treasures to an apothecary to be identified. Put your mushrooms into a large pan in layers with a dusting of salt between each layer. Not too much salt, but enough to draw off the juices of the mushrooms. Let that sit for an hour while you gather a gallon of strong stale beer. You see, nothing should go to waste when supplies are short, and the stronger and staler the beer, the richer the ketchup will be. Also, a pound of anchovies recovered from the pickle. Do not put your hands into the pickle jar or you will spoil the pickle. Use a wooden spoon with little holes in it. Also, a pound of shallots, peeled. For your spices, take half an ounce of mace, half an ounce of cloves, a quarter of an ounce of pepper, and 3 or 4 races of ginger. You may bruise them in your mortar, but it is not necessary if you are in a hurry. Mix it well together and cover closely. Let it simmer until it is half wasted. That should take about 4 hours. After 4 hours, let the mixture cool, then strain it through a flannel bag. Be sure to squeeze hard, for mushrooms will be generous with their liquor when persuaded. When you have gathered all the liquid, bottle it in cold bottles. Well corked, it will keep longer than any French invasion can last. You may use it to flavour any dal dish. A spoonful beaten into a pound of fresh melted butter will make a marvellous sauce for a fish. Or put it in a gravy. Delicious. For my part, should I ever have to endure a Scotch haggis, I hope that a spoonful of ketchup will render it edible. I am sure, no, really, I am, that we shall all be friends again before long. This little patch of earth is too small to accommodate our quarrels. Well, that is my hope in any case. Oh, I wonder, would you have any favourite family preserves or ketchup recipes you would be willing to share? If you do, there are 2 things you can do. 1, please send your recipes to the Northumberland Archives, where they can keep them, as they have mine. And if you have a picture, that would be a wonderful thing to see. And second, see if you can share them with someone you know as a gesture of friendship. We must make more friends. Goodbye.
Bye.